Hey, it's Tim here, coach of Men Who Want More, and today let's talk about dealing with anxiety, and I'm going to give you 2 ways to deal with it and to work through it. If you're like me, you're anxious at times. Now, that's not a term that I really use personally, anxiousness, but I know a lot of people who do, and as I walk through life and start, coaching and helping people and really spreading a message of inspiration, motivation, and everything mindset related, I find anxiety keeps coming up time and time again because it can be easy to get overwhelmed. And as a strong man, if you're anxious, you're not being the best person that you can be. You're not being the best man you can be, the best partner you can be, the best father, the best businessman. Whatever you are personally and professionally in your life, if you're anxious or you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, you're not going to be at your best. Quite simple. Maybe your partner is quite anxious, or someone in your life, family or friends, is quite anxious. So bear with me here while I give you the 2 ways. But my beautiful mum over the last 24 hours has had some health concerns. She was feeling her heart racing and heart palpitations, and it would come and go. So last night, you don't want to fuck around with these things. So I said, Mum, let's go and get you checked out. So we drove up to the hospital here in Perth, Western Australia, and waited for 5 hours, an extensive wait. And we got checked in, and they got her heart rate, her blood pressure. They did an ECG, which is a heart scan, and they also took a heart X-ray because we wanted to see if anything physically was going on. And obviously, it was quite anxious times. So as we waited, and as we waited for the results, we just got chatting. And a lot of anxiousness resides in the mind. Well, all of it actually. It can manifest physically. And luckily for my beautiful mum, that she was all clear. We got the all clear, everything physically, she's great. So the talk came in and around anxiousness. And there's been some challenges, both personally and professionally, in her life over the last few months. So we got talking in and around anxiousness. So I wanted to serve you out there watching and give you a similar message to how to deal with anxiousness. Because anxiousness is just a symptom of fear, our fears. Okay, so I absolutely believe that everything falls from an emotional spectrum under the spectrum of love or fear. Now, anxiety, just like any emotion, is there to serve us. It's there to help us if we're conscious and intelligent enough to understand that. So if you're feeling anxious, the first question is, what are you feeling anxious about in your life? What is that for you? Are you anxious about where you currently are, feeling not as confident or motivated as you want? Are you anxious in your relationships, whether it's in your marriage or your long-term relationship, or your family, your friend circles? Are you anxious with money and financially? Are you anxious in and around your job, your career, your business? Are you anxious, like my mum was, in and around her health? So when you can pinpoint where you're anxious, that's the first step to deal with it. And let me give you a concrete tool here. Every day, I'd suggest and invite you and challenge you to address it. Follow your fears, because this is where the freedom lies. So if anxiousness is a symptom of our fears, whatever those fears are, why wouldn't we follow it? Because of fear. We don't want to, A, we don't know, and B, we're scared to do that. I understand, I get it. But if you can bring light to your fears each and every day, that automatically starts to disempower those fears. So a question that you can use each and every day, if it's around anxiety, what am I anxious about? What am I anxious about? Write it down each and every day. Some days you can have a lot of anxiety. Other days you may not. You may be anxious about the people in your life. Write that down. You may be anxious about the finances, about where the business is going, about your job, about other relationships, about your health. It doesn't matter what it is. The key here is to note it, to label it, to get it out of swirling around in your head, the anxiety, and dump it down on paper. So I'd suggest every morning, sit there with yourself, with your thoughts, and go, what am I anxious about? That's the first way to deal with anxiety, whether it's within yourself or within others. Deal with it. Sit down and write about it. It may be a sentence or two. It may be fucking 2 pages. It doesn't matter. The key here is to bring awareness to it, because awareness is the first step to progress. The first step to progress in our life, we need to be aware. It needs to come from the unconscious to the conscious mind. So this is a great tool to do that. The second way to deal with it is move your body. So change your physiology. Now that doesn't need to be necessarily a strenuous hike or a strenuous gym session or a strenuous game of sport, however you like to move or exercise. It can be, but it can also be just get moving and breathing outside. Just move your body. Do some bodyweight exercises at home. If you create more of a ritual around movement, I know that you may be doing this one, the exercise, that's great, but if you're not, start doing it, is to move your body, because our fears start to manifest in our body. So when we can move our body, it changes our biochemistry, it shifts our state of being, it shifts how we think and our thoughts. Because when we focus our thought continuously on how anxious we are, without any strategies to move through it, that's when things stack. That's when you end up at the hospital at midnight. We were there from 7:30 p.m. all the way to 12:30 at midnight last night, understanding what was going on. And again, I'm so grateful that from a health point of view, physically, that my mum's great and she's good to go. Now it's management of the mind, which manifests anxiety, stress, overwhelm, frustration, however you term it. So the first way to deal with anxiety, first way is to note it, write about it. Stop pretending it's not there, or even if you have it, maybe it's unconscious and you don't even know. So bring it to the light. That automatically disempowers it. Secondly, move your body. Get out moving. So my mum used to walk a fair bit in the mornings, and to her own admission, she's been slack with that. She hasn't been for the last month or so. So one of the tips that I said to mum is, hey, maybe you want to consider getting back exercising each and every morning and get your body moving. Shift your energy. That's going to help with the anxiousness. So dealing with anxiousness, 2 tips. First one, make sure you note it, or affect label as it's called in psychology circles. Affect label, write it down. Simply put, write whatever you're anxious about. Some days it'll be quite big, other days it may be non-existent, but still bring light to it. The second tip, move your body, exercise. Make that a daily ritual, however big or small. So I hope this has served. Hey Tom, thanks for jumping on, bud. Simon, nice to see you, mate. Zoe, thank you so much, guys, for jumping on and contributing here. And if you've got a question or something you want me to address, please comment below or PM me. I'm always here to help. I truly am. I'm here to help and serve, and I appreciate the support that I get out there. Much, much gratitude if you're watching the replay also. And until I jump on another live stream, until I see you again, it's your time to step into your strength and to be the best man you can be.